want to give you maybe just 3 pieces of background that I think are important for millennials and everybody in terms of what I'm going to talk about. And the first one is I'm a recovering CEO for 20 some odd years. I had a company. We were in the CRM, customer relationship management space, software company. And if there's anything that I've learned and experienced is how humbling it is to try to be really good as a leader and strong in relationships. So that's point one. The second is the experience I've had in working with the homeless. And what we found, I work specifically, have been mentoring for over a decade, homeless families around employment. And one of the ways to define what usually is the case in homelessness is someone becomes homeless not when they lose their last dollar, but when they use up their last relationship. And so the 2 things I take from both being a CEO and working with the homeless is that broken relationships are breaking us as a country. All of us, sooner or later, will need a lifeline. We will run into something in our life, a marriage, a loss of job, a financial challenge, problem with the kids. We will run into something that's bigger than we are. And it is our relationships that I believe are the single most valuable and value-creating asset that we have. American Sociological Review has looked over the last 20 years, and what they found was when you look at friendship, that we've had a decline of 1/3 in terms of the number of close go-to friends that we have. Maybe even more disturbing is the most frequent answer 20 years ago was 3 close go-to friends. Today it is 0, and the number of people with no close friends has tripled. And then finally, the survey that got so much attention this last year from Gallup, where they did the survey and they said 70% of our workers out there say they are not engaged. They are disengaged at work. I recently wrote a paper titled The Disengagement Economy. And so they are disengaged. 18% of those are actively disengaged. It's like they go to work with a plan and a list of all the ways I'm going to be disengaged. When you look at what happens with voters, we're finding that historically about 29% of voters in the 70s considered themselves ideologically extreme. Today it's nearly 50%. What's probably most surprising about that, if you do actual detailed surveys of people's attitudes, what you find is that our division has maybe increased 5 to as much as 10%, increased a little bit. So something has happened to cause us to exaggerate our differences, to join tribes, and then do battle with others. If you look at heart attacks, what we find is that men with bad bosses, 20 to 40% more likely to have heart attacks. Men with heart attacks who return back to live alone by themselves are 4 times as likely to die from a second heart attack. A guy named John Ortberg, I think some of you might know. John Ortberg has a great saying. He said, it would be better to eat Twinkies together than to eat broccoli alone. Now there was a line I could have used when I was growing up. And we know how we had a near-death experience with Twinkies because they nearly went out of business. When I spoke recently to a significant private school, and we were talking about this, and when I got finished, the headmaster said, what you're really talking about is how do we get in circles rather than rows. Relational leadership runs on the power of engagement. It runs on leaders who know how to engage others. People we like and we don't, people who oppose us, it's being able to be engaged.